It's like the angel and the devil on either side of your shoulder. And the angel's like, just be safe, Hunter. And then the other one side's like, take that jump. Hit that jump.
Well, welcome to the sit down with Hunter Pinke. I am Hunter Pinke. This is cool. Gonna get this thing started, and yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time. To have a platform and medium where we can give out some inspiration, we give out some free hope, and man, this is an idea that myself and my friends Garrett and Anna have been thinking about for a long time. And now it's finally come to fruition. So I'm excited to see what this can become. But what this time is going to be all about is finding some inspiration and finding some hope. And really, it's found in everyday people, just like you and me. And I'm looking for overcomers. And I think I found a lot along my path and my journey. And I'm going to bring them here to come sit down with me. As many of you do know, I sit down quite a bit. I actually don't stand up all that often anymore. So I'm just going to invite people to come sit down at my level and sit in this chair and tell me their story and tell me a little bit about how they got here, but also about where they're going, because that's so encouraging. Not only hear what people have been through, but then to hear, okay, you've been through this and now you're going to go do this. That's powerful. I think we can relate with people. That's the goal for this thing, is to find overcomers, to have them sit with me, and to be able to relate with people all across the world. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm excited about it. We're gonna get it going here today. And the first overcomer that we're gonna showcase on the sit down is myself. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story, what I've overcome, how I've done it, and how I'm using it to try and help other people overcome their obstacles. And so without further ado, let's get into it.
Well, my story really starts in North Dakota, and I'm born and raised North Dakotan. I was born in Grand Forks. Grew up playing hockey. I decided to switch over to basketball, and really the reason I decided to just quit playing hockey and play basketball was my mom lied to me. We had moved to Fargo, and she told me that they didn't have youth hockey in Fargo, that I had to play basketball, and it ended up working out for me. But she told me that there was no hockey in Fargo, and I learned that not to be true. There was hockey in Fargo, but man, I grew up in Fargo for my first few years and loved to play any type of sports: lacrosse, basketball, football, anything. And then I moved to Wishick, North Dakota when I was in fourth grade. My mom married my dad, and we moved to small town North Dakota. Wishick is, I like to say, it's pretty much 100 miles from anything. We're 85 miles from the McDonald's, 100 miles from the Starbucks. We're kind of smacked out of the middle of nowhere. So if you think that you live in some remote, desolate place, you've never been to Wishick. Man, I'd love growing up in Wishick though. It was awesome. I got to do all the things as a young kid wants to play all the sports, being involved in all the organizations. I lived, probably 100 feet from the baseball field growing up. So playing Little League baseball growing up, I remember I'd just run down to practice and run back up for supper right after. And it was a great childhood. I had no complaints growing up in Wishick. The best part about being a part of a small town is the community that you feel and the connectedness. The community there supported me, and I loved wearing Mustangs across my chest. I took a lot of pride in being from Wishick, but also playing for Wishick. And then I got to go out sports, football in the fall, basketball in the winter time, track and field in the spring, baseball in the summer. But on top of that, FFA, FBLA, I'm a proud Blue Jacket. I don't want to move on from that too quick here. I'm a proud Blue Jacket wearer. the most success I had, the most uh, value I got out of an organization or a sport came from the FFA. There's no question about that. So I will back the blue jacket for as long as I live. Science fair, science Olympiad, math counts for all the nerds out there. Math counts. I was into that. I don't know. We got a couple others. Speech and drama for the drama enthusiasts. I did that as well. Point is, I could probably relate with most of the people listening today in that I was probably involved in something that you were involved in during my time in high school. But my favorite sport was to play basketball. Standing up, I'm 6'6". Nice part about sitting down is that we're all about 4'10" sitting down. So standing up, I was 6'6". Not gonna do that for you today, but you got to trust me. I was a pretty tall person, and from a young age, basketball was a natural choice because height is good in basketball. Go rebound or something. And for me, it wasn't I have to play basketball. It was I get to play basketball. I love the opportunity to just go play. And really, I think that's because of who I got to do it with and who I got to do it for. It really wasn't even about getting buckets. It was who's on my team and who's watching me play. And my family, basketball was our favorite sport, so therefore I wanted to make my family proud. And basketball is the game that I got to play with my best friend, and his name was Zapper Ballar, and we grew up playing basketball together. When I moved to Wishick in 4th grade, he wrote me a letter. It said, "I still want to be friends with you. Will you be on my traveling basketball team?" And so, of course, I said, yes, let's do it. And we were writing letters to each other. This was before everybody had a phone when you were in, 1st, 2nd grade. We wrote letters to each other, and that's how we created our traveling basketball team. We started playing traveling basketball together when we were in 5th grade, and we never stopped. We just kept playing year after year together. Not only did we become the best of friends, but we were pretty good little blue up too. And we had a dream that we were going to play college basketball together. And we were well on our way. I was playing really good ball going into my senior year. I'll still remember it just like yesterday. It was June 23rd, 2015. It was a beautiful sunny day, and that was the day that my best friend died. And I can still feel the agony and the ripping of my heart sitting here today. That day is almost 10 years ago. I struggle with it today. It tore me apart in 2015. And I was a top-rated player in the state of North Dakota, getting recruited by schools that I had dreamt about playing at for years. I didn't touch a basketball for the next 3 months. I think every time I touched that ball, the pain would come right back with it. And I think a lot of people can relate with that. It might not be a ball, but it might be a picture, It might not be a ball, but it's a pillow or it's a stuffed animal. Every time you touch an object, and it's like, man, the memories that come with that object come floating back into your brain. And for me, it was all the ones that, man, I just wanted back. I just wanted my friend back. And that's what the basketball really symbolized for me. And so I needed to get away. I needed to get away from the game. And about a week after Zach passes away, I get a call from the dream school that my grandpa competed at college, school that my mom competed at in college, what I like to think of as kind of my family school. And I get a call from the University of North Dakota, my home state's university. And they said, "Hunter, if you want to come play here, we got a spot for you." Except it wasn't their basketball team, Paul, it was a football team. And it was Coach Schwager. And he said, "Hunter, if you want to come play tight end for the University of North Dakota, you can do that." And so I went to the University of North Dakota, and I had an amazing time there. Most of the stories I got from UND, I'm not sharing on this podcast. So might have to wait for an in-person conversation to get some of those. But man, what an experience. What I got to do was really, really cool there. Some of the experiences I had, 70,000 people at the University of Washington. I mean, I'm from a town of 850. So you put 70,000 in the stands, and it's kind of an eye-opening moment. 70,000, I mean, shoot, in North Dakota terms, that's like bigger than Grand Forks and East Grand Forks. Well, that's like Minot plus Dickinson. So that's a lot of people in my brain. And so to play in a stadium like that, right on Lake Washington, playing against, I think, 10 plus NFL guys. I'm from Wishing. I played 9-man football, and that's an amazing experience. So what I got to do was really, really cool, but who I got to do it with is what made it really special for me. And the relationships that I got to take from UND was by far the best part of my experience. I think that's probably true in life, whether it's at the University of North Dakota or whether it be from Wishick or whether you're from Maine, whether it be your business that you started in Kentucky, wherever you're from, like what you do is really, really cool. But what makes it special is who you get to do it for and who you get to do it with. And man, I was blessed with the best in both of those categories. My time at UD was awesome. We had just kind of wrapped up my redshirt junior year, so it had been my 4th year there. And we just lost in the FCS playoffs in 2019. And we came back from that game in end of November, I believe. So kind of right at the beginning of December. School is got a few weeks left. And I remember my good buddy Noah, who we're going to have to get on the podcast at some point. But my good buddy Noah, we lived together, roommate, best friend. He said, Hunter, do you want to go on a skiing trip? And we're going to Keystone, Colorado. My dad is giving me this for my graduation present. I was wondering if you wanted to go along. And I love to ski. And I grew up going to Big Sky. That's kind of where I learned. And so for those that have skied Big Sky in Montana, you can relate with me. But I grew up going down Mr. K and going and skiing the bowl. And so I love to ski. I've been skiing since I was, 8, 9 years old. So yes, of course I'll go to Keystone, expense paid trip with you and your family. I'd never skied Colorado. So this was like, all right, this is the big time now. We left after Christmas that year on 2019 and got into Keystone. I remember got out to the room, played some games that night. And that night I was toss and turn, really couldn't sleep much, got up early. And I went down to go get my skis and get ready for the day. And I remember I was on a full conversation with my mom. And my mom said something to me at the end of that phone conversation that's probably going to be able to relate with everybody. She said, Hunter, have fun, but, and all you moms probably thought the exact same thing, just be safe. And I said exactly what, most kids say back to their parent in that conversation. I said, I will. All right. Yep. Love you too. Bye. And hung up the phone. Have fun, but just be safe. Went and got my skis, hopped on the gondola, headed up the mountain, first run. I remember getting my legs underneath me and feeling good that day. Kind of like I had my mojo back. I'm a flatlander. I fully realize that. I'm from North Dakota, flatland, but I've been on a mountain, my whole life. And I just remember the feeling of like, man, I'm back. Like, I can do this. I can do it at a really high level. And halfway down that first run, I realized that I was leaving everybody behind. And I didn't want to be, the guy on the trip that is, rude and not skiing with my friends. And so I stopped. I was waiting for everybody to pass. And after everybody had kind of gone past me, I started up again. And I saw this chute kind of lead me through the trees over to the other side of the run. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I want to take that chute because I love skiing in the trees. So I dipped into that chute. The thing about a chute is, there's not too much turning. They're kind of sunken down below, and the trees are rising up above you on either side. It's quiet, it's peaceful, there's fresh snow. You kind of have to just take that moment in. And I remember as I'm gaining speed through that chute, thinking to myself, like this is it. Like, this is why I came to Colorado. Or for moments like this, flying through the trees, it's just me and the mountain. And this is that. And as I'm approaching the end of that chute, and my speed is It's high, and I can feel the wind whipping against my face, and my knees are bent. I remember just seeing that jump and thinking to myself, like, you know what, Hunter, just be safe. Like those words that my mom had said just a couple hours prior, that hit me in that moment as I'm approaching that jump at the end of this shoe. Like, you know, Hunter, man, it's the first run of the day. You got a whole weekend ahead of you, and just be safe. And then, like, it's like the angel and the devil on either side of your shoulder. And the angel's like, just be safe, Hunter. And then the other one side's like, man, take that jump. Hit that jump. You know, get big air. And the 22-year-old went out. And I remember, you know, my skis lifting off the ground. And that's when I saw the other skier coming directly to my path. He was coming into the trees. I was going out of the trees. As I hit that jump and my skis lifted into the air, that was the first moment that I saw that skier. We ended up colliding. I lost my balance and I went head first into a tree. Thankfully, I was wearing my helmet. And for those people that ski and snowboard, man, wear your helmets. I will be here if I didn't have one. There's a big dent in the back right of it to prove that it saved my life. I was knocked out. And I remember I came to, and the first thought that I had was, this is going to hurt. I'm going to be sore from this one. And the second thought is, like, just get up. And I remember I pushed to get up, and it felt like I was being pinned down. Like something was pinning you down to the ground. I remember I looked and expecting to see something, you know, something laying on top of my legs. My legs were there, but they weren't moving. And I remember just telling my legs, come up, legs, like, get up. And there was just a stillness in that moment. A stillness of, oh no, this is serious. And that was the first thought I have of, I think I might be paralyzed. And that's a scary moment. Other skier was off to my left, and he came in to the trees to check on me, and he said, hey man, I'm sorry. And in that moment, I remember he asked me, are you all right? And I remember saying, no, I don't think I am. And the scariest moment in my life, I remember asking him, are you a Christian? They said, yes, I said, I think we should pray. And we prayed. I wanted on that day. And there were tears. And I can't honestly tell you what I prayed for. But I knew I was scared and I needed some help. Now, I'm imagining that most people had been in that situation before. And if you had been in that situation, it's probably calm. Like, this helpless feeling that I do not do this on my own right now. And just call out. You just call it to God. It's like, man, I need help. And I can honestly tell you, sitting here today on the sit now, that moment changed my life forever. Like, I feel like I got met by a divine intervention that day of, man, you can be helpless, you can be broken, you can be scared, but you got to know that through all of that, I got you, and you're going to be okay. And there was a peace that hit me in that moment that has never left. Like, it's with me right now. And I really think that can only come from one place. I really think that can only come from one person. And so if you felt that helplessness, that terror, and you're still searching for that peace, man, I don't know what to tell you other than it worked for me. Man, just call out, open the door. I can honestly say that I'm more confident sitting here today, fully paralyzed with the chest down, than I ever was standing up on 2 feet. I was a pretty confident guy. Like, let's be real. I was a Division I athlete, 6'6", 255 pounds. I was confident. It doesn't compare to what I got right now. Who I am, where I'm going, my identity, not only myself and who I am, but whose I am, that can only come from one place. And so, I'm not telling you, you know what? Actually, I am telling you. I am telling you. If you haven't thought about that, I'd ask you to consider it. You don't have to make any big decisions today, but I'd ask you to consider it because it changed my life. Jesus Christ was the one that made me on that day. And man, that peace is one that I'll never understand, but one I'm extremely grateful for. Got off the mountain, got airlifted to Denver, where I had 8 hours surgery to repair my back. I have a spinal cord injury at the T6 semi-level. My function is at T4. So the simplest way to say that is that I have zero function and zero feeling pretty much below my chest, right really at my nipple line, is where my function ends. And that is a permanent injury. I went into that surgery kind of thinking to myself, like, maybe this is just a stinger. I'm like, maybe this is a little stinger. I wake up out of surgery. I can feel my toes again. A couple of weeks, I'm out of here. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. I woke up and the doc comes in and, we got good news and bad news. Good news is you're still alive. Bad news is you're never gonna walk again. Actually, you got 2%. 2% chance. That's what it told me. 2% chance that I would get some feeling back below my injury line. You have a complete injury, and so 2% is the number that they give you. I remember this brief moment of defeat of like, ooh, 2%, that's not very much. And then there's this like, oh shoot, 2%. A lot better than 1%. That's double 1%, And boy, I'm sure glad that it's not zero. Like 2%, I can handle that. Let's get to work. And that was kind of my mentality of like, you know what, 2% sucks, but hey, that's the hand that I was dealt. Man, I'm for wish it. I can handle 2%, right? I played 9-man football. I can handle 2%. It's just adversity. I've been handling adversity for a long time. Let's go. In some sense, it was like a new challenge. I don't want that to come off as the wrong way, but it's like, this is a new challenge. Let's get after it. And so that was my start to recovery. And I think we'll get into kind of the recovery and where I took the injury in the next episode. But I'll conclude with this. When it comes to this life-altering event, I think it's important to address the question why. Because anytime you or me go through something hard, something that we don't like, something that we don't agree with, the first question that the human brain comes up with is, man, why? Why do I have to do this? It's not necessary. There's this other path that would have been a lot better for me. Like, as we think that we know the better path, right? Walking up on 2 legs, playing Division I football, that's the better path for me, not this one. And I think early on, I asked the question, man, why me? And I'm guessing that you've had that moment in your life too. It's like, man, why me? Why do I have to be the kid that does blank? Why do I have to be the kid that has blank? Why do I have to be in the relationship that has blank? Why do my parents have to be blank? But fill that in. Why me? And I think it's important to realize that sometimes it's okay to not understand. It's okay to not understand. And I wonder if you've ever asked the question, man, why not? Like, why not me? Why can't I be the guy in the wheelchair? Why can't I be the guy that goes and changes the world sitting down? Do I need to stand up, check the world? You tell me. Man, why not? I mean, why can't I be the person that overcomes cancer? Why can't I be the person that comes from a broken family and creates a new, healthy family? Why can't I be that kid? Why can't I be a good father? I didn't have a good father, but I can be a good father. Why can't I? Why not? Give me a reason. Most of the reasons that you're going to come up with in your head, you're not going to like the answer to. I'm too lazy. I don't have the support. That's just not true. You do. You do have the work ethic. You do have the support. You might have to refine it, but it's there. Man, why not you? That's what this podcast is getting me about. The why nots. Like, man, why not us? And I'm excited to dig in to more of those people coming up here in the following weeks. Man, appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode.